Folks, I'm sorry to announce that Forrest L. Wood has passed away. He was 87 years old, and he died January 24th, 2020. Anyway, he was a great mentor of mine. He was one of my heroes. He was my first advertiser I ever had. And he was a great fisherman and a fishing buddy and a great friend. And I met Forrest Wood coincidentally at the first bass tournament I ever fished at Toledo Bend Reservoir. And he was staying in a trailer with the Murray brothers, and we started working together, and it was the very first tournament that I'd ever experienced. And so Forrest took me under his wing because he liked what I was talking about the Santee Cooper that I'd been fishing for many years and all the big bass, and he just liked me, I guess, and he really helped me out. In fact, I came in second in that tournament. The very next tournament I actually won. It was at Lake Seminole in 1970. Now this was actually when I first met Forrest. It was actually the 20-something of January 1970, exactly 50 years ago. And anyway, he took me under his wing and helped me out again on the second tournament at Lake Seminole, and I won that tournament. So I started off really well. I had a different boat. And so Forrest said, you know, Roland, you really need to get into a Ranger. Well, he was a fisherman. See, people don't understand what an avid fisherman he was. He built these Ranger boats for us fishermen. Now, the first ones had no live wells. In fact, he finally got me into the first Ranger boat in 1971. He was my first advertising sponsor, supporting me with the boat. And I had been taking an aerator and putting it in one of the storage compartments and keeping fish alive. Now, we weighed in the fish at the time. The bass didn't require live fish and live release. We just killed them. But I showed Forrest that it could be done, that we could keep fish alive. So he perfected the system. He took the live wells, plumbed them just a certain way, built live wells, and we had the first aerated live well system in a bass boat. And I was kind of a contribution to that as well. But anyway, Forrest did so many big things in the industry. Also, we filmed together. Some of the really neat films. One time we were in a tarpon fishing thing down in Key West. And Forrest hooked his first tarpon he'd ever caught, about a 100-pounder on a little shrimp. And we caught it and we got it in the boat. But that wasn't the highlight. The highlight of the day was this Cuban fellow was up on the dock, and he was close by, and he hooked a tarpon at the same time that Forrest had one on. We got Forrest's in, and the other Cuban guy's tarpon was all the way across the bay, and we yelled at him, saying, "Hey, you want to get in the boat?" And the guy said, "No comprende English, no comprende English." And so Forrest, he likes to help people. He said, "Come on, get in the boat, get in the boat." And the Cuban guy said, "No comprende," and Forrest just said, "Get in the boat." And so the guy jumps in the boat. Forrest and I run after the tarpon, and we land the Cuban guy's tarpon. The whole time he's talking Spanish, and we're talking English. He doesn't know who we are. We don't know who he is. We take pictures of the tarpon. We send him on the way. He shakes hands, and that's the end of the story. But it was really, really cute because that's what Forrest wanted to do. He wanted to help out. Another time I was with Forrest, and we were at Millwood Lake. That's in Arkansas. And the biggest tree in the middle of the forest, it was a sunken, it was all sunken timber. It was all 8 or 10 feet of water. This big giant hollow tree was out in the middle, and all of a sudden Forrest looks up in the sky and says, "Roland, there's smoke coming out of that tree way out in the middle of the lake." We'd been there for an hour or so. Nobody had been near the tree. And all of a sudden there's smoke coming out of the tree. So we go over and touch the tree, and it's red hot. It's really, really hot. About that time there's a whoosh, and the whole tree just burst into flames. The whole inside the tree is like a big hollow chimney, and it's just sucking air through the holes and stuff. It must have been spontaneous combustion because this whole entire tree just burnt up. And so that was the end of that story. Another time we were filming together. We did a lot of films together. We were on the St. Johns River, and one of the biggest bass I ever hooked with a Johnson spoon. I hooked it way back in these logs, and Forrest said, "What are you going to do, Roland? You can't get to it." I said, "Forrest, just hold on to everything. Just hold on to that tree. I'm going to jump in the water, and I'm going to go sloshing through the woods and logs, and I'm going to get that bass with my hands." I jumped out of the boat. My knee hit a cypress knee. A cypress knee is a big stump-like thing. It was under the water about this far. I didn't see it. Almost broke my leg, and I'm laying there in the water. I'm just writhing in pain. Forrest lays the rod down. We don't know if the fish is on the line. Cut my leg, and finally, after about 10 minutes, I said, "Forrest, I guess I'm all right. I guess I didn't break my leg. Where's that rod?" When we picked up the rod, the bass was still on it. It weighed 10 pounds, and we caught it. Well, anyway, that was the kind of fun things we had going on back in those early 70s. But you know, everything changes. And in the 90s, I'd been with Forrest and Ranger Boats for some 30 years. My number one sponsor, my number one advertiser. I was so happy. But things do change. And Irwin Jacobs and the Gemini Group bought Ranger. And we didn't see eye to eye. I didn't really get along too good with the new group. So I called Forrest. I said, I don't know what to do, Forrest. I've been offered a new position with Triton Boats. Forrest said, hey, you have my blessings, Roland. You've been a great supporter of Ranger, but I don't have anything to do with the company anymore, so go ahead and do what you want to do, and Earl Bentz and Triton might be a good choice. The irony of it all is that now, some 25 years later, than all this happened, Bass Tracker and Bass Pro Shop has bought both Ranger boats and have bought Triton boats. So everybody's one big happy family again. In the meantime, Forrest and his Randy Hopper, who was the ex-president of Ranger Boats, they started a new boat company just this last couple of years, and it's doing really well. But anyway, things change, and Forrest is just as vibrant a person. He just spoke at Jerry McInnes's funeral. Jerry McInnes is another big giant of the industry, and Forrest did a great eloquy with that, and you would never think that there was a thing wrong with Forrest. He went to all the boat shows. Every time we'd see each other in the last 10 or 15 years, we'd just hug like little kids and just talk about old times and all the great fishing and things that we'd been doing together. What I want to let people know about Forrest was he was the finest gentleman. I mean, he would be a gentleman to everyone. He would just had my honor and respect more than anyone I've ever met. And again, I almost named my son Scott after Forrest Wood. I didn't, but I should have, I guess, in the long run. It would have been good. But and then he was just a great friend. Anytime I had an issue with a contract, I had an issue with an advertiser, I would call Forrest. He was my sounding board. He gave me more advice in how to run my life and how to run my company and how to run my television business than anyone ever. We really had a good time. So I just want to let you know that this industry is going to lose a great person, and I'm going to lose a great friend. Again, a great tribute to Forrest L. Wood. Thank you.